So the plan was made. My two sons were going to be with their father, and I made a plan to go visit my parents. So it was time to tell them the truth about why I was leaving my husband of 15 years. So I got on the road, the hour-and-a-half drive, and I kept going over it in my head, and I could picture myself telling them, but I couldn't quite picture how it was going to work out. So as I got closer, and I entered the driveway, and I drove the mile into the Girl Scout camp where I had grown up, I had this really strong feeling about this disconnect between this beautiful place and all the tension I was feeling. So I went down the hill, which we called the Seven Sisters because there were 7 bumps in the hill going down the road. I went around the 90-degree turn, and there was one more bump. And I pulled in front of the stone house where I'd grown up. So when I went into the house, my mom said, "Come with me, come on up to the trading post, and you can help me up there." So the trading post is a building that my father actually built. That's the store for the camp that was built really close to this magnificent pool that I later found out I was totally spoiled by, but I had no idea at the time. So we went up there, and I helped my mom work at the trading post, which was her job. And that entails helping young children figure out how to spend every dime and every penny that their parents have sent to them with camp. They say, "I have this much left, what can I get?" And they buy flashlights and sweatshirts and pens and things they don't really need. So we did that, and when we were finished, my mom said, "Let's go home. I have a little break before the next group comes in." And I look at her, and I say to her, "Mom, there's something I need to tell you." And I said, "And when I tell you this, you might not ever want to talk to me again for the rest of my life." And I said, "Actually, I need to tell you that the reason that I'm leaving JP is because I'm in love with Elodia, and I want to live the rest of my life with her." And my mother cried, and she held me, and she said, "Debbie, you are my daughter, and I will always love you." Which, of course, was a relief to me. But then I heard the truck pulling up outside of the trading post, and my mother heard it too, and so we pulled away from each other, and we dried our faces, we pulled ourselves together, and my dad walked into the trading post. And he said, "Debbie, come with me. I need to talk to you." And so I followed him into the green truck. It was a Girl Scout camp, so the truck was green, of course. And I got in the passenger side, and he drove to a unit that's called Never Never Land. It's the most beautiful place in the world. There's a little creek that goes through the forest there. So he parked, we climbed out of the truck, we went into the kitchen shelter, which, in case you don't know what a kitchen shelter is, it's a place that just has a roof and poles, and then a cement floor with a fire pit that you can cook on and some tables. We sat down at the picnic table there, and my dad started to tell me about how disappointed he was that I was getting divorced. And he started to tell me about how the Bible tells you that marriage is forever. And no matter what, you stay with your partner, well, he would never use the word partner. Of course he said to me, "You stay with your husband forever. That's what's right. It's what God wants for you." And he said to me, "I know marriage is hard sometimes. It's been hard with your mother," who is a saint, I have to say, but nonetheless, he told me, I know it can be hard." And then he said, "And I don't really know why you want to leave JP anyway. He lets you do whatever you want," which of course was always a mystery to my dad. Why would a man let a woman do whatever she wants? So he really couldn't figure it out. And the whole time I'm picturing myself telling him the truth. And as I'm trying to imagine it, and I'm hearing some of what I'm saying, and I'm missing some of what he's saying, and I'm angry about some of what he's saying, I realize that I can't get out. That the way that we have sat, there is a rail behind me at the edge of the kitchen shelter, a rail behind me, the table over here, and my dad is here. The only way out would be to climb over a railing, climb over a table, or bowl over my dad. I don't feel that dramatic. And so I realize that I'm not going to be able to tell him. I was 38 years old at the time. and I was still too scared to tell my dad.